pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The Commissioner's Office will report on financials from May 3rd, 2016. Resolution 16-059, as approved by the County Administrator pursuant to the motion approved January 5th, 2016, to authorize the County Administrator to execute in the case of a lack of quorum of Commissioners and/or if session is canceled on regular financial day or on a day when financials need to be approved. The required approvals of county financials on behalf of the Board during the year 2016 is authorized by ORC 305-30.
Okay, the highlights of what I approved last Tuesday. Under supplemental appropriation transfers, we had supplemental appropriation for the Clerk of Court's computerization fund for the Courtview e-services maintenance contract and the Department of Job and Family Services Public Assistance and Children's Services funds for additional appropriations necessary for the remainder of the year. Encumbrances included a contract for Callow's Professional Resources for the Summer Youth Program for the Department of Job and Family Services. Also a travel request for the Treasurer's Office. And among the vouchers, there was a payment to the Portage Geauga County Juvenile Detention Center for the second quarter 2016 in the amount of $171,405.
Have a motion?
No, you don't need a motion.
You don't need a motion for those?
Nope, not for those.
Okay, the financials for today include supplemental appropriations for the JFS Public Assistance Fund for additional appropriations necessary for the remainder of 2016, and the Prosecutor's Victims Witness Fund for travel expenses. Cash transfer into the general fund from the Engineers Fund for the 2016 repayment amount for the salt structure building. Cash transfer for payment of the 2016-2017 workers' comp premium. Contract for Keystone U.S. Management for the purchase of a recording system at the courthouse in the amount of $42,812. One then and now for the county home. A travel request for the Public Defender's Office. Payment to Meyer Design for playground resurfacing for the Board of DD in the amount of $49,992. And payments to Bainbridge, Chester, and Russell Townships for the 2015-2016 snow and ice control contracts for the Engineer's Office.
When do you see we'll start to get the financials for like the public defender with these cases going right now?
You mean the financial impact?
Yeah, the odd case.
Oh, I would think fairly soon.
So will they bill us in increments as it's going, or is it just at the end one bill?
I think probably something of that magnitude would be periodic billing, so, yeah.
Okay.
I'll let you know as they start to come in.
Okay. But no estimates.
Not yet, no. I can ask them if you want.
I just was curious, because I'm sure it's gonna be a bunch. Okay.
Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board approve and execute Resolution 16-060, itemizing the financials for the meeting of May 10th, 2016.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool?
Okay, Mrs. Delaney, stand right there. I'd like to make an addition to the meeting today, a resolution, 16061. This is a resolution honoring Heidi Delaney for over 10 years of service to Geauga County. Whereas Heidi Delaney is a native of Lake County who has chosen to make Geauga County her home. Graduated from Lake Catholic High School, attended Lakeland Community College and Ohio University, and whereas Heidi Delaney, as a young and involved parent, freely volunteered her time in overseeing the financial records of community organizations she was involved in, and whereas Heidi Delaney entered the professional workforce in the accounting department at Sawyer Research Products in Eastlake and subsequently entered the profession of public finance administration, first at the City of Kirtland and later at the City of Willoughby, and whereas Heidi Delaney joined the Geauga County Commissioner's Office staff in 2006 as a budget officer. In and over the years, in recognition of her technical excellence and outstanding work ethic, was promoted into increasingly responsible roles, overseeing the county budget and financials process. And whereas Heidi Delaney, as the Geauga County Budget and Finance Manager, has been recognized by all those she has worked with here over the years for her financial expertise, demonstrated knowledge and willingness to train anyone from any department in the intricacies of the New World financial system, and the high degree of credibility she brought this office in terms of the accuracy and completeness of the budget reports she generated, the well-organized budget hearings she conducted, and the comprehensive decision support data she has produced that has been so valued by the many Geauga County Commissioners she has served, and me too, that's not me here. Whereas Heidi Delaney has been a wonderful personality for all to be associated with here, always willing to help anyone at any time, allowing herself to be interrupted from her important work during the day, freely giving of her time, and frequently working beyond the end of her scheduled workday to compensate in order to provide support and give good advice to the many who sought her counsel over the years. And now therefore be it resolved that the Geauga County Board of Commissioners wish to recognize and honor Heidi Delaney for her dedicated service to Geauga County over the last 10 years, and wish her and her family the very best as she moves on to her new role with the City of Chardon. Be it further resolved that this resolution become part of the permanent record of the Board of Commissioners in Geauga County, Ohio.
I will make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool?
As we're waiting for this to be signed and passed this way, I want to add, if you don't mind, a little side note. I mean, I for one, as a new commissioner last year, and even before being a commissioner, I used to go in and bug Heidi for information on a regular basis. And, you know, she's been a integral part of this office for a long time, does a tremendous job. Chardon is going to be receiving very fortunate to have stolen her away from us. But not only, as you said, her confidence and work ethic and so on and so forth, but just her personality. It's easy to get along with, always has a smile on her face. And even though she drinks this green slurpy stuff in the morning, maybe that has something to do with it, I'm not sure, but just a wonderful person.
And after hours, she may need to consume other things just to get the reaction of dealing with us during the day, but that's okay.
I was just gonna say, Midge will be lost.
The chair will still be in there.
That's not the same. Not the same.
Dan will stop at City Hall, drop her off
There you go.
on his way here, and then pick her up later after she gets her Heidi fix. We should have a copy of that. Is that coming the other way?
You need a copy of that, now it's signed.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh. Not at all.
Thanks, Heidi.
Heidi, the financials are right here. Heidi, you need the financials?
It's not all about you. It's not all about you. You got the rest of the week.
Right up to 4:30.
The very last second.
That's it. No slacking. Based on the extra hours she worked, she could have left like 5 weeks ago.
Commissioner's Office will report on the items approved May 3rd, 2016 by the County Administrator, authorizing Resolution 16-05 under the direction and supervision of the County Commissioners that was approved January 2016 pursuant to ORC 305-30.
Okay, I approved 3 things. For community development, I approved and authorized the NOI RROF, Notice of Intent to request the release of funds certification for federally funded state projects in regards to the EEI Acquisition Corporation Project, CDBG Economic Development Grant, and revolving loan fund. I also executed a corrected CDBG status report, BF 151AZ1 for the period September 1, 2015 through March 31st, 2016. I had originally executed that a couple weeks ago, but there was a small correction that had to be made. The third thing I executed was a service contract with Water Resources for Buckeye Power Sales for generator services and repairs as needed for 1 year in the amount not to exceed $10,000.
Good morning.
Hi, Jessica.
Couple things on the agenda today. The first is to amend the motion for our new hire, Jeff Thomas. Between the time the position was posted and the time he took the job, there was an adjustment in our pay table. So we just need to amend the motion to accurately reflect the new rate of pay.
Department on Aging is requesting the board amend the motion from April 19, 2016, adjusting the rate of pay to read, approve hiring Jeff Thomas to the position of full-time transportation driver, number 1020, to be effective May 2nd, 2016, at a rate of $13.57 per hour with a 1-year probationary period.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
The next two are regarding our summer help. We had our two young ladies who had been working with us for quite a few years, and they have both grown up and went on to careers. So we were looking for 2 new summer help this year, and we found 2 great young people, Anna Carlson and Sierra Shortridge. Both can start next week. So we'd like to bring them on board for the summer and let them help us out.
You want to do both of them?
Yes. Department on Aging is requesting the board approve hiring Anna R. Carlson to the position of full-time summer help, number 0101, to be effective May 16, 2016, at a rate of $8.50 per hour for a period of 21 weeks, maximum 840 hours. The Department on Aging is requesting the board approve hiring Sierra R. Shortridge to the position of full-time summer help, 0101, to be effective May 18, 2016, at a rate of $8.50 per hour for the period of 21 weeks, maximum 840 hours.
I'll make those motions.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner
Aye.
Spillier? Commissioner Claypool?
Aye.
All right, the next, Mr. Voss, he's on the Geauga Community Action Inc. board. He asked if one of the members or staff members from the Department on Aging would be on the board. Chris Anspaugh is our fiscal officer. She also deals a lot with clients who are having financial issues, helping them apply for HEAP, also assisting them sometimes to apply for benefits of job and family services. So I thought that she might be a great fit as she's kind of in tune to some of the financial needs of the seniors in the community.
Department on Aging is requesting the board appoint Chris Anspaugh to the Geauga Community Action Incorporated Board.
Make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner
And lastly, Sifrin approached us. They're a company, they operate out of the Metzenbaum School. We deal with, we work with individuals with developmental disabilities and get them into training programs to learn job skills. They asked if we would consider being a work site, and we would be pleased to do so. I have great staff with wonderful skills, and I think that they could share their knowledge with some folks learning to get into the job force. So we are looking to be a work site for Sifrin. It is at no cost to us. It's just an educational learning program for the individuals.
The Department on Aging is requesting the board approve and authorize the president of the board to execute the worksite agreement for supported employment training opportunities between the Geauga County Department on Aging and Sifrin Incorporated for the period May 10, 2016 through December 31st, 2016.
Make that motion.
So with that, what exactly do they do? Is it like a job growth or like a job training program?
Right, so the individual may come with or without a job coach, and maybe they're looking to work in the food service industry. So what they might do is spend some time in our kitchen learning how to prep food, take food temperatures, do the proper sanitizing. Or they may be looking to do something in maintenance, and in that case, they would shadow our maintenance person to learn how to do some cleaning and replacing some light bulbs. So they'd be shadowing different staff and spending some time until they learn the required skills so that they might be able to be sufficient.
Okay. Perfect. I'll second that. Okay.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool?
All right, thanks, have a good day.
Jessica, just before you leave, I don't know if it was announced, but Jessica, they had the opening of the Chesterland grand opening last week at Senior Center at the West Geauga Plaza. If you haven't gone and seen that facility, you might want to stop by sometime during when it's convenient for you. It's really a nice, well laid out and very, looks like it's user-friendly.
It is, I mean, to have basically the same amount of square feet we had at the other site, all in one place, in one building, under one roof, is just, it's wonderful. And it's very open, the floor plan is open, which really allows for good navigation. So we are very pleased with the move, and I think it's, a lot of people have been dropping by. That plaza is a busy place. You know, you can come to the senior center and get your groceries at Giant Eagle right afterwards, so it's a
Got a
convenient.
Dollar General just at the end of the
I
driveway.
know.
Now, progress has come to Chester.
So yeah, it's a great location. Stop by anytime we're there, Monday through Friday, 8 to 4.
It was a very nice event. Thank you.
Thank you.
Couple minutes after 9:15.
Hi, young lady, how are you?
I'm here today to ask for permission to advertise for public hearing number 3. This public hearing will outline the projects that were applied for our next year's CDBG allocation grant. So under BF 16, it will just list the applications that they came in. It doesn't mean we're doing those projects, it's just letting the public know who applied.
The Office of Community and Economic Development is requesting the board grant permission to advertise to hold public hearing number 3 for the 2016 Community Development Block Grant CDBG Economic Development Allocation Program to be held on Tuesday, May 24th, 2016 at 9:15. Notice of this public hearing will be advertised on May 12th, 2016 and on the county website.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner
Aye.
Spillier? Commissioner Claypool?
Thank you. Bye-bye now.
A number of people from the Fair Board.
Aye.
Come on up.
Come on up.
Coming.
Who's speaking?
Sam and David and Paul and RL. Yeah, Sam, David, so many.
Yeah.
How are you? How's everybody doing? Good. How you doing? Good.
Well, I want to thank you for having us here. You may or may not know I'm Sam Plants, this is David Parker. And those two guys I don't think we need to introduce. We've all dealt with them a few times. Since we met last, we've had some changes in our officers and that. Bob has moved up to immediate past president. He serves on our executive committee and he heads up a couple of board committees. And left this huge pair of shoes for me to step into. And I told him I hope he had it drawn back because I've been leaning on it pretty hard. David is now our vice president. And obviously, Paul is still our secretary. We have one new director elected this year, Wendy Anderson from Parkman. I think she's also on the Cardinal School Board. So she's our one new director. Diane Kellogg was our longtime treasurer, probably 12 years, I guess. She decided she wanted to travel a little bit more, take some time off. So we hired Sherry Measures from Bainbridge as our new treasurer. Diane's still involved, and she's gonna come back at the fair and help, you know, in the treasurer's office. But, so there have been some changes since we last met. Capital improvements last year, just to hit some high points, we painted the steel at the grandstand underneath. All the structural steel got blasted and painted. We built a new livestock sales office on the arena, which was a huge improvement over the old days when there were just tables in the dusty arena and things. So now we have a centralized location. Everybody thought that was a great idea after it was all said and done. The new electronic sign out front went up in operation just before the fair. We owe a big thank you to a lot of donors on that project who made that happen. And important to the draft horse exhibitors, we vented the new barn. That thing used to be a hot spot. I mean, if it was hot, there was no airflow in there whatsoever. And you put 60, 70 horses in there, it would get hot. So Paul worked with our grounds manager, and they designed a new cupola system. Basically, it goes the whole length of the barn with drop-down doors. And even as hot as it was last year, it was cool in there, and everybody was happy. Horses were happy. So those were just some of the highlights of what we did last year, capital improvement-wise. Events we had there, we had our 2 antique markets, which are our biggest fundraisers of the year. We were blessed with good weather both days, so we had good attendance, good income. We had our normal truck pull, which I believe got rained out. Even the rain gate got rained out. So, and we had horse shows going on there every weekend, the goat shows. Every night, one of the buildings is being used, at least one building, by some organization or group. People walking their dogs. That's a fantastic place for that. Dogs all over the place. We get to the fair. It started actually right after we met with you last year. Paul got an email or a text with there was going to be a conference call with ODA of all the fairs in the state. And they lowered the boom and canceled all poultry sales, exhibitions, and the whole 9 yards because of the bird flu or whatever it was that was going around. Which meant the kids couldn't bring their turkeys and ducks and chickens to the fair. It put a real hardship on those. Most fairs just threw up their hands and said, oh well, nothing we can do about it. We said, there's got to be something we can do about it. So Paul started researching it, put together a plan with biosecurity and a whole different thing, and then him and his junior fair committee actually put something together that the state accepted, so that our kids were one of the few in the whole state that could take their projects all the way through and still have them at the fair. Instead of having live birds at the fair, they had frozen birds, but they still had an auction, they still made their money, their income, and they didn't lose anything. We owe Paul and his committee a big thank you for that, because it did fulfill those kids.
How did it work with those feathers frozen and everything?
Yeah.
How's everybody kept saying there's no chickens at the fair? Like, oh, they're here. They're just in a semi out back.
Right. But it affected other things. David runs the chicken flying and the rooster crowing. No live birds at the fair, so he came up with chickens and people acting like roosters. That turned out real well. It affected the park district. They have their birds of prey. They couldn't bring those to the fair. So, but we thought we made the best of a bad situation, and the kids all benefited. That was the bottom line.
How's that gonna work going into this year? Change the rules?
We're back to we can have chickens and turkeys and ducks and all of that.
Good.
As we stand today.
So I can come buy more $500 chickens this year?
Absolutely.
All right, good.
Yeah. And I think David's going back to a live chicken flinging and rooster crowing. If you remember, we had 5 hot days, extremely hot, dry days, which in some cases is just as bad as having some rain because people don't come or they don't spend as much time there and those sort of things. But interesting, our ride income was the highest it's been in several years. So those that did come took part in, riding and things like that. Didn't have any real problems with the electric. A few years ago, we had, when we had real hot days, we had rolling blackouts and brownouts in areas, fairgrounds. We'd have to shut the power off. But due to some upgrades we've made over the years and stuff, we did. I think we came close a few times, if I remember right, but we didn't get where we had a problem. Bob brought in that new aerial act. I'm not sure what you call it. It's kind of a aerial Circus Olay, but if you saw it, you wouldn't forget it. It was probably the number one question asked during the fair. Where is it located?
There was no Willand, or
Yeah.
some heir to the Willand.
The granddaughter to Carl,
Yeah.
who was the original, the dad you remember from the 50s and 60s.
But it was, especially the finale when they were swinging her by her neck. You had to see that. And the popular racing pigs were back. That was the number 2 question, where they were at, where they were located at. We had the Chris Higby free concert on Friday night, like we've had for 5 years, type of thing. Every year that keeps getting bigger and bigger. This year, capital improvement, we're looking at some asphalt projects, re-siding, like the racehorse barn, the arena, and also new seats in the grandstand. At least the first 10 rows, Bob?
Yeah, we'll get half.
Yeah, replacing the seats because they're pretty well weather worn, need replaced. Events this year at the fairgrounds. Obviously, we have our antique markets. We've got 3 new events that we never had before. The Geauga Humane Society just had their annual like trash and treasure sale type thing where people donate items. People come and purchase them as a fundraiser. They just had that this past weekend. Ducks Unlimited is having a raffle 21st. That's never been there before. It's usually been a winter event indoors, and they were having trouble finding an indoor spot in this area that would accommodate it. So we worked it out with them. They're having at the fairgrounds using the grandstand, merchants hall, and racetrack, things like that. And then probably the most exciting one is the healing wall. The Park District contacted our chairman of our grounds rental committee a month or so ago and said, help. They had committed to hosting it. And when they found out the logistics of it, how many people they expect, I mean, they said there could be 20,000 people show up in 4 days. They realized they didn't have a facility that could handle that. So they called us to see if we could put it on the fairgrounds. We all said, absolutely, not a problem, make it happen. And then they dropped the other shoe and said, our fair ends on Monday night, and they want to come in Tuesday morning and set up. So we said, okay, it'll still happen. It'll happen, one way or another.
What exactly is it?
It's that half-scale memorial Vietnam.
Replica of the Vietnam Wall.
It's never been in Geauga County before.
That's awesome.
It's been in Lake County, it's been in Ashtabula, but it's never been here in Geauga County.
Wow.
So they come, and it's open, they start set up Tuesday and Wednesday, and then Thursday there'll be an opening ceremony, and then it'll be open 24 hours around the clock until Sunday night.
They're looking for volunteers in shifts to man these.
Oh, that'll be really neat.
Yeah, no, we're very proud, to be able to assist with that.
Where's that gonna be? Just by, I was told it would be by the big grandstand on the driveway or roadway.
Yeah, we looked at several options. The easiest one would have been out in the north parking lot because it's central, parking's there and everything, it was all grass.
Yeah, you gotta
And we
have
were
some.
worried about, well, they prefer it on grass, actually.
How big is the
The wall itself is 250 feet long.
250?
And then they bring in a semi-trailer that's an educational exhibit. Then they've got a tent off of that that's got more exhibits, educational. And then there's other tents for volunteers, things like that. It's very solemn. They don't want any advertising or music, you know, they want to keep it very solemn type of thing. And like I said, it'd be open 24 hours a day when it's there. They encourage groups to come, school groups. They have special programs for them that the school would come. It's,
It's gonna start the day after the fair? so-
well, the setup will. The setup will
Runs
start.
the 8th through the 11th.
Yeah,
8th to the 11th?
About, or September? Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. But, you know, the challenge is getting that area cleaned up and presentable.
Yep.
In less than 24 hours, you know, type thing. But we'll make it happen. We've talked to our concession manager. He's on, he's going to help us clear that area out and everything. But you are right. It's going to be somewhere in there behind the grandstand. On the field.
Yeah, that's what I had heard, because, you know, you can walk on the
Yeah, we've got it right
asphalt
out,
along
Yeah.
the area. And,
So, again, like I said, we're very excited about that. New at the fair this year, we replaced the truck poles on Monday. We're having old-fashioned bull riding. We had it years ago and we dropped it. It's coming back this year. So that'll be in front of the grandstand. This is probably the last year for the Chris Higley Show pre-concert. Bob has already looked at setting up a new act starting next year. Just to change it up, because this will be Chris's 5th or 6th year here.
This bull riding thing is like part of the, what is it, EDA, professional bull
It
riding?
is, but it's not that level. It's more of a regional. You're not gonna see the guys you see on TV, you know, those kind of
Yeah, it's sanctified by SERBA, whatever that stands for. South, something. Figured bull riding's in there somewhere, there's a BRA at the end, so I assume that's Bull Riding Association, whatever the other first is, southeast or whatever.
And they'll do that in which arena?
right in front of the grandstand, on the racetrack.
I think that'll be a hit.
It was always a big draw when we had it before, and then we dropped it. And it was probably time to bring something like that back.
Yeah, that's
Truck
neat.
pulls getting kind of stale.
Yeah, that's kind of neat.
Those are kind of the new things, and like I said, the real chickens will be back, and turkeys and all of that.
Those are always there.
Yeah.
Well, not last year.
No.
But,
No, but the kids did a nice job. They put up exhibits in the poultry barn. They put up a lot of
Yeah, no,
educational
I-
displays. I mean, they
Oh, yeah.
finished their project out that way. But, and also, we're very proud because it shows the kind of people I think that we have involved with our fair. But Paul was awarded by GOSA, which is Greater Ohio Showman Association. It's organization that represents all the food vendors, all the vendors, the food vendors, the t-shirt vendors, the ride people, all of those. He was awarded Secretary of the Year for the state of Ohio this year. So,
Congratulations.
very proud of
Thanks.
Actually, Northern Ohio did very well that day. I think Lake County's concession manager was awarded concession manager of the year. Canfield had Welcome Director of the Year. So District 9 was well favored people. Lastly, from me, I'd like to thank you for your support over the years. Some of you, well, you all been with us at one time or another in Columbus, kind of see what the flavor of fair, you know, putting on fair is. We appreciate your support. We continuously get comments from other counties. We can't believe the involvement, the support we get from not only you, but law enforcement, fire departments, things like that. So we are kind of a model people look at. And we are lucky that we have a lot of experts that go down there and put on seminars and various facets. Sheriff Dan's done it several years, Scott has done it. So we're very fortunate in that. And as always, we invite you to have your meeting at the fair again.
Definitely.
Passes.
These are your passes?
The comment at the end that you made about, you hear from the other counties and the occasions that I've had to go down there, I've heard from, as a commissioner, I've heard from other fair people from around the state that they're amazed that we have this interaction, a relationship, and I'm amazed because you bring more people into Geauga County in 5 days, arguably, than all the other things we do for tourism and economic development and whatever. More outsiders come in that 5-day period of time. Why wouldn't we support and endorse it? I mean, that was my question back to them. Why would your commissioners, it's not an adversarial relationship, or it shouldn't be. So, from my point of view, thank you guys for what you do, because I spent about 10 years over there for 5, 6, 7 days in a row. It's a labor of love for you folks. I appreciate that.
It's,
Who wouldn't want to go see a chicken shop?
They got her. It's a group effort though. It's just thousands of volunteers. It's not us. I mean, we're fortunate. We look good because of them and you guys support. So.
That's one of the things that always impresses me when I go to the fair. Everything is well oiled. I mean, from the sheriff's department to all the people running around in their golf carts, moving people around, the food vendors, all the vendors are well coordinated. The grounds are kept clean. All of the barns are clean. I mean, it is an amazing fair. You guys, it's do a large part in part of your leadership, and then all the volunteers you got. I mean, it's fantastic. I have a great time there.
Stop over about 2:30 in the morning and we'll learn a whole lot more.
Well, if you go out of there, if you leave the
Wait till the gates
fairgrounds,
close, then you'll learn something.
you leave the fairgrounds between, 11 and midnight, and you're heading north out Chardon Windsor Road, or not Chardon Windsor, Clarendon Troy. You'll see a convoy coming from Universal Disposal. There'll just be a convoy of trucks coming in from up in Hamden to dispose all, or to carry out all the refuse.
Well, my dad was on the fair board for several years.
Right, I know.
And you could tell what day of the fair was by his attitude. Because by Monday, going to talk to him.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of knowing and working with your father and
We're not like
Caterpillar Track.
No.
Thanks for all you do.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
That's all.
Zero.
Bye, Earl.
See ya, Ralph.
Morning.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
So we're gonna do 11 through 16.
Want to do all 6 at the
We'll just do all
5
6.
or 6?
Don't tell me a reason not to.
No, these are just the contracts for 6 projects, local projects that have already been awarded just to approve and execute the contracts.
Are you gonna be speaking 17 and 18 too, or is that?
No, Andy's here to cover those.
All right, so, go ahead, Graham. Anything you need to mention about it?
No, it's just,
We've
again,
been
it's
here
just a
before,
matter
so-
of signing the contracts, and then we can proceed with the pre-construction meetings and get some work started in the county.
Cool. Anybody got any questions? Matt, go ahead.
I'll read while you sign.
I will read, well, we gotta approve them. Okay, but, go ahead.
County Engineer's Office is requesting the board approve and execute the unit price contract with Roniak Paving Incorporated for the asphalt resurfacing of Clay Street, County Highway 37, Section A and B in Huntsburg Township in the amount of $636,384.26. County Engineer's Office is requesting the board approve and execute the unit price contract with Roniak Paving Incorporated for the asphalt resurfacing of Chardon-Windsor Road, County Highway 13, Section I through J in Huntsburg Township, Geauga County, and Ashtabula County in the amount of $518,361.20. County Engineer's Office is requesting the board approve and execute the unit price contract with Roniak Paving Incorporated for the asphalt resurfacing of Hale Road, County Highway 15, Section A, and Butternut Road, County Highway 21, Section I through J, in Burton Township in the amount of $430,181.50. County Engineer's Office is requesting the board approve and execute the unit price contract with Roniak Paving Incorporated for the asphalt resurfacing of Gingrich Road, County Highway 34, Section A, in Burton Township in the amount of $299,738.15. County Engineer's Office is requesting the board approve and execute the unit price contract with CIR Incorporated for the replacement of Cuts Road Bridge, structure number 72-00.49, and various drainage structures in Hampton Township in the amount of $220,392.62. The County Engineer's Office requesting the board approve and execute the unit price contract with Aeromark Incorporated for the application of polyester pavement markings at various roads in Geauga County in the amount of $172,076.
Let me ask you, like on an average bid on that asphalt, on those asphalts, how many people usually get a bid on a project?
Depending on which part of the county it's in, but 3 to 4 contractors on an asphalt resurfacing project. So, we usually get about 6 bids passed out to contractors to look at it. Again, this depends on which side of the county, north side, south side, but usually we get at least 3.
And then if, like, do you guys have it if you don't receive a certain number that do you have to wait to get so many bids before you approve it, or?
No, we can base it on one bid. One bid is the only bid that we receive during that bid period at the opening. If we don't receive any bids prior to the bid period, obviously, we have to figure out what's going on.
And then the normal procedure for that is what, you guys will submit those, actually, you know, you'll contact a lot of them to send them the jobs?
We actually have a list of contractors that do all the work in the county that we've worked with, that will send out a public notification. It's advertised on the county website and also in a local newspaper. So there's multiple options to reach out to all the contractors, and then a lot of our bidder companies that come out and do these special bids, they'll advertise them on their websites.
I see.
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool?
Aye. We've got the Mayfield that's gonna be tore up May 15th, you see?
Yes, sir.
You guys get notification of that?
Yes, sir, yes. They actually requested permission to do a local detour.
Is there, how did county residents find out about those kinds of projects, or ODOT projects?
It's an ODOT. ODOT has their public notification system that can be signed up by any resident. You can get ODOT updates of road closures throughout the county. They'll send it out daily, and then they advertise also. So, and then they do pre-notification signing in advance on the roads and in the local papers.
I just found out about that this weekend. It was kind of a surprise to me. I didn't know it's right in front of my house. So.
I might as well ask a question as well. Do they have a computer program, or do they have some way that they, because, you know, the devil in me every now and then says they're gonna close so many roads that you're not gonna be able to get somewhere. Do they have some kind of a safety net where we're gonna do this one from here to here, and then we're gonna start another one? They must, I mean,
We do our best to coordinate all the agencies around to make sure that, you know, We're in communication with ODOT, ODOT talks to us, and obviously your surrounding villages in, Geauga County, some of, the different counties, that's the hard part, is adjacent, but between ODOT and us, we try to make sure that we don't block too many roads at one time.
Sure seems to me that maybe that's the objective, because, you get all these detours, and it's like, how the hell am I supposed to get to where I'm going? 'Cause
They're just doing that in this area, right?
It's like the game that's played, they're gonna close all these roads down at the same time.
Years ago, when they redid Chardon Windsor Road, if you came to Chardon Windsor Road from one end or the other, you'd know where the closure was. But if you lived off a side street off Chardon Windsor Road, when you came to the stop sign, you didn't know whether to turn left and go around 608 in my case, or turn right and go into the village. And that was, I was younger then, and high irritability when you drive a mile and a half down the road, and then there'd be a big piece of equipment in the street. You'd have to turn around someone's driveway and go all the way back the other way. I'm thinking, geez, just put an arrow at the end of the side streets. Today we're going to be down here or there, but I matured since then, so there's no threat of homicide.
Okay, you want to take team?
I will, I'll tag out.
All right, Andy.
Thanks. Thank you.
Yep, bye-bye now.
You're in.
Mr. Swan?
Good morning.
Bye, Andy.
Good. Back for one final act of this for Parkman. That's the final.
You like this project?
I do now. No, it's been fun. The tour was probably the best part.
Did he charge by the foot on this deal, or how does that work? For the length of the road, did we charge by the foot, or?
Charge $1.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dave. If there's any questions on this, it'll kind of beat this one to death. This is the final plat, cover page, and the final configuration of the vacated alley with the versionary parcels going to the main market and Mr. Christoph on both sides, the north and the south. It was awesome deal. It's very easy to get through and done. And easement that we discussed and acted on is shown for the turnout for the township, which was absolutely necessary to make this work. Other than that, if there's any questions, that's what we signed and date.
We need to read this.
Okay.
This is the vacation, right? County Engineer's Office requesting the board approve and execute the vacation plat of an unnamed, non-numbered road in Parkman Township.
I will make that motion.
Second?
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool?
Aye. Are there multiple copies of this?
This is one. All follows Moses.
Do we need a signed copy of that?
Probably.
I'll sign it.
And you
Sign
say
one,
and then
Then we have it in case.
we have it in case, and if we don't, then
Date, yeah, we
Date right up above there.
did, right here. So this is the 10th day, right?
Blotter.
Oh, okay, because I always worry about,
lessons learned.
yeah, signing the thing, and then the next thing you know, it's all smudged.
We have a similar question.
And next is this is very much the same model that we did for Cuts Road, reestablishment plat for Fowler's Road, which Munson Township is actively pursuing, moving on, so part of what to build is where to build it, and that's part of the retreatment. If there's any questions on that, we have to go into depth.
We don't need a copy of this, right? There's just one place to sign it.
Yeah, that's it.
The County Engineer's Office is requesting the board approve and execute the reestablishment plat for Fowler's Road, Township Road 108, Section D, and Fowler's Mill Road, County Highway 39, Section I, located in Munson Township.
Uh,
Second.
busy with arts and crafts. Where's your crayons?
Commissioner Rear.
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool.
Yeah, I apologize, but I'm coloring.
Staying in the lines though, very well.
This one here is, this will be recorded.
That one, Fowler's Mill one, do you have a small one for
I do.
that? Okay.
Good catch.
I'm not in your union, but I think I can roll this, right?
I'm great.
I would grievance against me.
Commissioners, thank you.
Thank you.
Take my arts and crafts and go home. Have a great day.
Yep.
Don't you need this one, or is this one for us?
That was great for us. Okay, thank you, Commissioners.
Did you guys print that Velomont yourself, or do you have somebody else do it?
Yes, we do it ourselves. We're just a new printer scanner. It's a fine job.
Good.
Thank you.
Good to see you. I haven't seen you forever.
Well,
You've been doing everything
else.
hiding.
yeah, that's right. How are you today?
Good, how are you?
Debbie, how are you?
So we finally got here.
We did, and let me just say, this is one of those things where local government, everything like that, when you get the opportunity to work together with different groups, different entities, and actually come to a solution in a reasonable amount of time, it makes it fun. And we've been working on this now for 6 months to a year since Scott gave Dave and I notice about a year ago. Dave was very instrumental last year. We got to the point where we had a meeting with the townships, had everybody together, which is the best way to do it. That was in Montville, I believe. Scott came, gave us a good idea of where the deer thing was going forward, and at that point, Skip jumped in and kind of ran lead with that. I will say, in the meantime, Debbie and Lori have done a fantastic job just pulling this together to the point we're at now. So it's one of those times where you can get everybody in local government together and we accomplish something, and it's just good for everyone. It's good, exciting to see that.
So, if there's no questions, you want to go ahead and read it?
Commissioner's Office is requesting the board approve and authorize the president of the board to execute the memorandum of understanding among the Geauga County Commissioner, Geauga County Board of Commissioners, and Geauga County Nuisance Control regarding the removal of deceased deer within county highway public right-of-way on Geauga County roads for 1 deer in the amount not to exceed $9,000. Further, the Geauga County Engineer will pay Geauga Nuisance Control all fees exceeding the Commissioner's responsibility of $9,000 annually.
Make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Reer?
Aye.
Commissioner
Aye.
Spillier? Commissioner Claypool?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks to you guys, by the way, going out and picking up that 1 deer over here on Auburn.
Yeah, kind of a mess at that point.
Yeah, I'll bet it was. We had a call from a lady a couple of weeks ago.
Hey, Chief. How are you? Good to see you.
Thanks, man.
Morning.
Hi, Dale.
Morning, sir.
How are you?
You want to go?
Go ahead, sir.
We would request that the commissioners renew the agreement with East Prime Logistics for the wireless emergency notification system. Funny, we are giving you three sets of statistics and uses of the system. The first one being that there were 511,178 messages sent. Just to tell you what that consists of.
We use this system to make notifications to EMS, fire, law enforcement, emergency groups via their cell phones. The system allows large group messaging to be pushed out and not be intercepted as spam or something of that nature. So a fire call, a rescue call, traffic accident, a need for manpower, that 511,000 text messages sent out, that's what that represents. That's how many times it's been used.
And what kinds of things do you use it for?
Rescue needed at 1234 Main Street. Male with a heart attack. To push it to the EMS so that they know. We have used it, call out our resources, be it specific groups, notifications to staff, anytime you're pushing a large group of information. It's interfaced as well with our CAD system, computer assisted dispatch. So when we enter things onto the computer screen for a call, it can automatically propagate the text message again, so you're not typing the same thing 3-4 times.
There's a lot of groups, and there's fire investigation unit, there's social services, Ravenwood, hazmat, our staff. There's a lot of different groups that are in there that can be called and are called.
Yes,
In addition to police and
we
fire.
even use this temporary groups. We've used it, for example, the fair was here. We set up with fair board members and should there be an emergency at the fair. It could be something as simple as we need to conserve power, cutting out brownouts, starting to roll through, whatever, something like that. It could also be in a setup where if we get a missing child, perhaps an abduction, we can push out immediately to all the fair board people. They have pre-assigned position gates and things that they go to, more eyes and ears to help find. An ability to do that, it's like one message goes out and it covers it. We set groups like that up temporarily, again, when we're dealing with emergency notifications.
And you can send these to the public also, is that correct?
We'll get down to another part here. Yes.
That's items 2 and 3.
A good lead, and we'll use that. Yes, the public can voluntarily sign up. And in fact, 6,200 messages last year were pushed out to the general public. These messages can be anything from a hazardous material spill affecting Chardon, Windsor, Hollydale.
Thank you for that.
Well, as an example, we can notify people who have signed up. We also find it very advantageous. We've had a number of people who may not live there, but are primary caregivers for elderly family. So it's not restricted by your address. You want to know if there's something major going on where mom and dad live. Okay, you can be on the notification list too. We have used it in cases of, we'll call them a walkaway, perhaps an elderly person, dementia. We can notify areas, more eyes and ears helping look.
The other ability that we have is we can then send out the all clear message, because it's our system, to let them know that the emergency has been resolved. Grandma was found, as an example, or the road is clear. We've used it, power outages. You go, a power outage projected to go for a while, to notify people of where they can go, should they need shelter, water, different types of things like that. Again, a way to push the information out. The advantage to the pushing it out cellular, I'll give you an example. We're all here. Okay, if there were to be an emergency, Stagecoach Lane, Coachman, I'm sorry, where you live, up in that area, you could be notified here, and we see that information, as opposed to, you're gonna try and drive home, and there's a message left on the answering machine.
Who's, the local emergency planning committee, who's that?
That's the committee that meets to go over the extremely hazardous substances facilities in Geauga County. We meet the third Tuesday of every month. And their buy-in on this is in case there's a hazmat incident, they want to be able to share the expense if they have to tell people to shelter in place or evacuate in case of a hazmat spill or transportation incident involving hazardous materials. So they want to partner with us. As well as recognizing their need that when we come calling out lots of safety forces, there's fire department, hazmat teams and whatnot. Again.
Are those the fire departments? Is that, who's members of that group?
The hazmat group,
team.
the LEPC.
The LEPC.
LEPC is made up of elected official, law enforcement, fire, health, first aid, industries affected by, that have extremely hazardous substance, and those that have hazardous substance, transportation, media, citizen at large, and specialties such as do it departments on there. That's who's on, off the top of my head. Anybody have this? Pretty much covered it.
I find it interesting that they've got a fund to help fund this. So it's a large group of people from varying disciplines, and so I found it interesting that they had a fund set up. So they must all contribute to be a club's membership dues or something, or what is it?
No, it's a group that they bring those applications. You remember when you signed those 63 applications that you yelled at me about?
Mm-hmm.
Those were the people. They're all volunteers. And they get fees from the people that have to file with that have EHS facilities, and plus we do exercises, which generates about $22,000 in state grant money. So out of that $22,000, they pay for this, and we pay our agency, Department of Emergency Services, for doing most of the work.
Yeah, because we used to have a full-time employee.
Yes, that's exactly.
And when that person moved on to another job, we looked and said, Dale's administrative staff should be able to handle this and just charge for their time, so it saves that fund a lot
It
of money.
saves probably $30,000-40,000 a year, because we're doing it for this year $7,500, next year about $10,000, as opposed to having an employee that makes $38,000, $42,000, $45,000 plus perks. It's quite a savings in the county.
Okay, real good. So questions there?
Department of Emergency Services is requesting the board approve and authorize the president of the board to execute the one service agreement between the Department of Emergency Services, DES, Geauga County Local Emergency Planning Committee, LEPC, Geauga County Sheriff's Office, Geauga County Board of Commissioners, and Instrum Logistics Software for an emergency response notification system for emergency responders and the general public for a period of April 1st, 2016 through March 31st, 2017, in the amount of $19,350. $6,450 paid by the local emergency planning committee, $6,450 paid by the Department of Emergency Services, and $6,450 paid by the Sheriff's Office.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier? Commissioner Claypool?
Aye.
first I'd like to apologize for bringing this to you. Right, it's the law. That's right, it's work time. In front of you have the policy that we put in place 3 or 4 years ago. The sheriff in the group, and it really hasn't changed. And if you look on the very last page, those are the exotic animals that we have in Geauga County. It'll show you the owner, their address, and what they have. And I don't think I kept a copy. Is there like 3 or 4 animals total? Two. All right. We have to put this group together and this plan together for that many animals. And the sheriff will tell you, our encounters with animals where you've had to dispatch them is typically what? Deer, sick raccoons. When's the last time you had to shoot an exotic animal in Geauga County? Not my bird. So, like I said, I apologize for bringing this to you. It's the law. I couldn't even get veterinarians to sit on the committee. And I sent emails to the 2 owners. They wouldn't even sit on the committee. So I would imagine if you appoint this committee, we'll probably meet for about 10 minutes, approve this, send it back to the state of Ohio and say no change, and we'll go on from there. See what I got here. Go ahead.
This pretty much stems from the incident that occurred down in Butler County, if I remember right. Where an exotic animal farm, all the animals were released, went out, and the state then passed this law requiring the formation of this committee, brain trust, if you would, to deal with animal escapes, what might be done. It affects all 88 counties.
Sounds like a safari to me. I don't know anybody get upset about that. You have to pay to go to Africa to do that. You could just go.
So then does the state have to do inspection and stuff over here at these places? Or do you guys do it?
The exotic animal owners have certain things that they must comply with. From our side is, if that fails and there's an escape, how are we going to deal with it? Just so this group wouldn't be activated unless there was a failure in that part. And I suppose we could have a truck driving through with a load of tigers or something, get out. But anyway, yeah. I'm not necessarily losing sleep, but I apologize.
Yeah, well, goofy laws.
The
So,
only thing, like I said, we couldn't get a dangerous wild animal owner to sign up. We couldn't get a vet to sign up. The only outstanding. And if we make that part of the motion, the state will go, okay. We do need an elected official though. And I don't know if one of you gentlemen would like to be on this committee or someone that you don't like.
we had an elected official submit their name for consideration. I would suggest, if chosen, that we find some 40-hour-a-week work effort to apply. But outside of that, and I had volunteered. You were here the other day, and I had volunteered for that also. But Lori Benza out of Bainbridge, trustee, had thrown her name in there. So I will throw it out to the other 2 commissioners who you want to nominate for this situation, so we can fill the slot. We'll let it go with that. Any thoughts on that?
If you have, like Lori Benz, if she's interested in it, now, you say, you sent this out to the elected officials, the township?
I did not.
You did not?
I did not. No, I did not.
So we really don't know
Lori
if there is
Lori saw it on the agenda and was interested.
I have no problem with, if Lori would want that. The only question that I would have is if there was some other township trustee somewhere or something that had a burning desire to do this, I don't have a problem with that either.
Is there a way we could just send out a quick email to the townships and then we'll just.
Well, I can contact.
Blake, is that good?
That's fine with me. I mean,
Yeah, you don't have to do that one today. We can send out some.
we can approve everything.
That can be filled.
Yeah.
The only comment that I'm making is that this is a once in a blue moon kind of event. Do we need to complicate this? I mean, I would say we don't need to, But if you guys wanna send out an email, okay, I'll go with you on it, but I don't think we need to complicate this. I'll nominate Ralph and we'll.
I mean, if she's
I thought, you know, he's got the highest powered weapons available to
That's
him.
right.
so-
Well,
He's got
I mean,
personal experience with wild
how often do
animals.
we do this, annually?
I've seen him hanging in this place.
He's already controlled several wild
It's
animals.
3 years.
Every 3 years?
Well, this, the appointments are good for 3 years. And we'll just send a no change every year until the 3 years is up. It doesn't change.
I mean,
And even Matt told me that the state quit issuing these exotic licenses in 2013, so these animals ought to be dead within, I'm sorry, 5 or 6 years.
that's a sensitive comment.
I know.
Yeah,
I just-
insensitive.
I mean,
Peter.
somebody's pet fang.
You'll have my letter of.
I noticed Dan,
Yeah.
I
Dan
serve
said
it's a
this.
pleasure, and I have a feeling I'll be seeing you.
And we can
Yeah,
get
Dan said this wasn't a great concern to his, but then Dan's only got another 7 months. I don't have a problem in nominating Lori. She sent a thing in. If she wants to be there,
But she's gotta come up and sign, well, that's fine.
well, I mean, I don't have a problem. If there's a second
That's
for
fine.
it,
I'll second that if that's,
Done.
that way it's cleaned up and it's.
yeah, and we don't have to,
And the
go through this
And
again.
who is this?
Lori Saspens.
She's a Bainbridge
The
trustee,
NCA.
and if you
We don't
want to
go
talk
with
about wildlife, Bainbridge is probably the
Let's
place.
keep her busy.
Township.
Bainbridge Township Trustee.
Can you do that again? All right.
So now you can just read the thing and.
Good.
Okay.
Be done.
Department of Emergency Services is requesting the board reappoint a dangerous wild animal response team, DWART, in accordance with ORC 935.28, and further approve and execute the initial dangerous wild animal response team nomination form, authorizing the director to submit the following list of individuals to the State of Ohio Dangerous Wild Animal Response Emergency Commission, DWAERC. Law Enforcement, Dan McClellan, Geauga County Sheriff. Fire, First Aid, Scott Hildebrand, Hamden Fire Department. Emergency Management, Dale Wedge, Geauga County Department of Emergency Services. Health, Bob Weisdack, Geauga County Health District. Broadcast, Print Media, John Karlovic, Geauga County Maple Leaf. The elected local official, Lori Benza, Bainbridge Township Trustee. And dangerous wild animal owner and veterinarian were no response.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Reer?
Aye.
Commissioner Swear?
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool?
Thank you, thank you. Done. We got it, thank you.
Have fun.
Are they on that phone, emergency phone thing?
They will be.
You know what, that,
Okay.
again, that's an example of a group that can be set up and is plugged into it.
I'd like to introduce Alyssa Parnaby. She works for JFS. She's an HR assistant, works for Donna Barrow.
Good morning.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Nice to meet you.
Here. Thank you for the introduction, Dave. My name is Alyssa Carnegie. I'm the Human Resources Assistant under Donna at JFS, so I've come today in her absence. I'd like to have you acknowledge the following appointments as prescribed by our Director, Craig Swenson at JFS. We complied with the Board of Commissioners recruitment and hiring procedures. We have 4 new hires since the last time we came up, and all of them are replacement employees. The first is Haley Filco, who is a social services worker too, as of January 11th, and she has her bachelor's degree in sociology from Kent State University, Honors College. She has worked at Talmadge Rec Center for several years as a camp counselor and a child care worker in their daycare there, and also completed an internship with the Department of Youth Services in Columbus, shadowing parole officers before she came to us. Secondly, we have Joshua Burton as a maintenance repair worker. He started on February 22nd and also has a bachelor's degree in sociology from the College of Worcester. Josh spent 3 years as a security officer at Progressive Insurance and has worked previously on contracts at JFS, so he has reassumes a lot of the job duties that he had with us previously.
Erica McKelvey is a clerical specialist 2, also started the same day on February 22nd. She has a bachelor's degree in advertising from Kent State University and has most recently earned a paralegal certificate from Lakeland. And finally, we have Ashley Higginbotham, also a clerical specialist 2, who began on February 29th. And she comes to us with a Bachelor of Arts degree in Human Resources Management from the Ohio State University, and worked most recently as the lead office associate at CarMax in Bedford, and has also worked a few summers over at the Geauga Department of Water Resources.
Okay. Any questions?
I have none.
Department of Job and Family Services is requesting the board acknowledge the following new hire appointments of the Director of Job and Family Services. This Job and Family Services has complied with the Board of Commissioners recruitment and hiring procedures. Haley Filko, Social Service Worker 2, effective January 11, 2016. Joshua Burton, Maintenance Repair Worker, effective February 22nd, 2016. Erica McKelvey, Clerical Specialist 2, effective February 22nd, 2016. And Ashley Higginbotham, Clerical Specialist 2, and she's effective February 29th, 2016.
I'll make that my motion.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier? Commissioner Clickwell?
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye now.
Morning, Todd.
Morning. Morning.
Morning.
Good.
The first one is, we all have been working on, LB Architects for the county courthouse basement project. This is at $14,000. We will not hopefully be using all of that. It's just in case something happens and there's site visits and I add a little cushion to that. So I'm only looking at way below that. My goal is to go for a new 10. And anything that rises, it's there. I will keep you all in the loop of that. What's going
Cool. How quickly can we make this happen?
Once it gets done here, and then when we turn around for getting financials opened up, and then we'll get on it and get it going.
Maintenance Department is requesting the board approve and execute the service contract agreement with LB Architects LLC to perform architectural and engineering services for the Geauga County Courthouse basement for the year 2016 in the amount not to exceed $14,000.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool?
Go ahead.
The next two are cleaning contracts. The first cleaning contract is for down here, 4, 5, and 6. That's approximately $280 a month for cleaning contract. For down here, for building 4, and another $280 for building 5, and about $300 for building 6. They'll be coming in every day, so. Got it, once again, fairly cheap, so, fairly good. So, building DES, we also got out there, they'll be out there 3 times a week out there. So, just stop in and get that building all cleaned up.
So this is a all-inclusive price for a 2-year deal?
Yes. To clean all 3 of these buildings. It's good.
Yeah, I mean, it's not an annual cost, that cost is for the 2 years.
Correct.
Yeah.
We try to look at that and, is it good to do it in-house or that? I can't.
Yeah, well, that would have been my question, is,
Every single day they're gonna come through here and empty.
Well,
allegedly.
Yeah.
No. That's why we got the cameras.
Yes. Any other questions on that?
I need to read this.
Let's do the topic.
So the one, garbage.
Yes, yours is, it's so full.
The dust here.
The dust,
Like
is-
that
it's
dust.
laden in there.
Yeah.
Maintenance Department is requesting the board approve and execute the service contract agreement with J.T. Dillard LLC, DBA Jam Pro of Greater Cleveland to perform custodial services at 470 Center Street, Building 4, 5, and 6 for the period of June 1st, 2016 through May 31st, 2018, in the amount not to exceed $20,827.20. Maintenance Department is requesting the board approve and execute the service contract agreement with J.T. Dillard LLC, DBA Jam Pro of Greater Cleveland, to perform custodial services at the Department of Emergency Services for the period of June 1st, 2016 through May 31st, 2018, in an amount not to exceed $9,312.
I'll make those motions.
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you all, have a good day.
Thank you.
Thanks, Glenn. Back again.
Back again. We're here to have to seek the board's approval for a server for the 911 system. When 911 phone calls come into the Geauga County Sheriff's Office, this server supplies us with the subscriber information, including name, location, cellular call, where the call is coming from. The current server, about 10 years old, has been in operation 24/7, 365 the entire time. The technology has become dated, as you can imagine. Yeah, okay. And there's something coming out, next generation 911, which will keep some more enhanced calling, better accuracy on where the caller is coming from. I believe it's going to take into account, amongst other things, perhaps multi-story buildings.
I think there's an Apple app for that. I'm not sure, but.
You can't break the code.
It's very secure. I'm not sure why you wouldn't be using
Yeah,
an iPhone.
we have to get a, yeah, junior high student that knows computers.
That's right.
But again, it's used every day, every 911 call that comes in, both landline and other. It processes the database. We use it for law enforcement, fire, police. You get people who call in, don't know where they're at. It tells us. It's mission critical. We've budgeted for it. In the appropriate.
That actually came in a little bit lower. So we think we appropriated about 70, right?
This doesn't include the manpower,
Yeah.
Okay.
the install.
Yeah, this is hard parts.
Okay.
So, last year, whenever it was, last winter, driving back in from Thompson, Town Hall, back into Hamden, not exactly sure of a street address, the guy hit the tree, and I pulled over and called 911, and they wanted to know an address. I said, between Montville and Hamden, within a quarter mile of the line, I don't know where. I'm sorry, I'm sitting in the front of my car, I don't know the address.
You don't have.
It would know from GPS or something where I was basically.
Your phone has a locating device.
Right.
So the phone company knows where your phone is located to what route you calls. This basically takes that information in reverse
Okay.
and will locate you when you call 911 and tell us where the call is coming from. You know, yours is but a good example. In a snowstorm, it's amazing how you can easily lose where you're at. Well, it makes a difference where on Route 6 you're at, where on even a shorter road.
Yeah, there's not a mailbox
babysitter
every
calling.
50 feet on 166, you know, I'm here, and there's no mailbox here, and there's no mailbox there. I don't know what the hell the street address is.
We use it every day, repeatedly every day. It's mission critical. I mean, for us to, we're looking to avoid that incident where we lose 911 because of 10-year-old failure. But it is mission critical. And it does supply, it supplies the whole county. We work off a central database. So, yes, people in Baybridge benefit putting them in. Those calls could route where we need.
Sounds good.
Okay, you read it?
Sheriff's Office is requesting the board approve and execute the master customer agreement with Telecommunications Systems Incorporated for the replacement of the 911 Automatic Location Information, ALI, database in the amount not to exceed $57,909.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner
Aye.
Spillier? Commissioner Claypool?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good,
Yep,
thank you
have a
guys.
good day.
Yep.
Here.
Don't tell us about signs.
Yeah, that's right. Just didn't say sign.
Thank you, my voicemail. Yes, I did.
I'm a Pavlov's dog. But thank you for catching that for me.
Cliff, stop here.
Hey, Jerry.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good.
Got any openings on there for him?
Training curve, though.
We might have one coming up.
Sludge, I think
As much
it's
as
sludge
I've been-
department.
As long as I've been learning, as much as I've been learning lately. You
I was
know,
gonna say, yeah,
That's right.
you know, when a water well, you can come over and dig our water wells. Do wells for us.
They do, they're just a different suit. Don't make the same mistakes, get the.
I'll do as best I can.
And none of that stuff gets slid by, let me tell you.
All right, Jerry, what's the good word?
Our first item on the list here is change order number 3 for our Thompson Sewer Project, contract B. This is actually the sewer side of that. The driveway replacement came in a little bit more than what was originally calculated based on the original design plans due to the rock excavation out there. They had to dig some trenches a little wider just to make sure everybody was our future customers were happy with their driveway repairs. We, had them do a little more to make sure everything was cleared up. So
This is our drive to
Well, these are
the.
customer drives?
This is the individual driveways for all the houses. When they had to dig it up to
Okay,
put the
okay,
sewer
where we
line
were,
in.
yeah.
Are they happy now?
I have not heard anything lately, so.
Okay.
I think we're finally to a point where all the.
No calls are good calls.
Yeah, the customers are happy, so. We are getting connections up there. I know that there's a group of about 10 of the property owners who, working with one installer to come out and do them all. So I think they got a little bit better deal on the installs from the right of way to the house than they would have gotten had they all gone individually.
So Jessica had this really nice opening for your senior center, or when you go to actually flip the switch and start processing sewage, you can have it open house?
Never done it before.
Now, I'm not sure what.
I keep telling Doug that we're gonna
Not
put a
sure
little
what he
plaque up there
served.
with his name.
Yes. Chili. No, thanks.
Department of Water Resources is requesting the board authorize the president of the board to execute change order 3, final, increasing the Thompson Sewer Project Contract B with Envirocom Construction Incorporated for additional driveway restoration in the amount of $27,810.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Aye.
The next item here is approval of the plans for Gates Landing Phase 2 in Bainbridge Township in the Canyon Lakes development. This is a private development that they'll be putting in, turning over the water and sewer line to us to operate and maintain when it's done. The reason why we're doing this one, usually the county engineer takes the lead on, but this is the roads are all private, so all of our sewer and water line will be done. So it's just approving the construction plan so they can get started installing sewer and water for the developers.
Department of Water Resources is requesting the board accept and approve the site improvement plans for Gates Landing Phase 2 in Bainbridge Township for sanitary sewer and water line construction in the Canyon Lakes development. Sanitary sewer and water lines will be installed as part of the development by the developer under the inspection of Geauga County Department of Water Resources personnel. Once completed and appropriate easements are granted, ownership, operation, and maintenance of the sanitary sewer and water lines will be turned over to Geauga County.
Make the motion.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner?
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool?
Aye.
Next item is our Coy Lane lift station project. We had put that out to bid, and Workman Industrial Services was the lowest and best bidder on that for $166,152. And this is just final signing off on the contract so that we can get that project started.
Oh, great.
Jeez.
Wait for that demo.
It's not as bad as it looks.
That pump station actually serves, I think, like 9 or 10 houses.
9 or 10 houses.
As you go into that subdivision, and you come down, and you actually get into Geauga County, you go down the hill there and then come back up. That pump station is at the bottom of that hill, just to pump it up to the top, where then it flows by gravity down to our plant.
Pretty costly.
But the sewer, that pump station is about 40 years old, so, and I think it has original pumps.
It won't go
It's
uphill.
all brick.
It won't go uphill
it's
by
falling
itself.
apart. Yeah, exactly. At one point, that pump station actually did service the rest of Scarsdale that's in Chagrin Falls. But years ago, Chagrin Falls installed a pump station and sewer on Falls Road. And at that point, then those property owners, being in Chagrin Falls and Chagrin Falls taxpayers, didn't want to be part of our sewer system, and the agreement was that they then took the pump station and pumped it to the Falls Road pump station.
They're in Chagrin Falls, it's probably a much fancier pump station.
Would you go ahead and read this so we can read?
Department of Water Resources requesting the board award the bid to Workman Industrial Services Incorporated for the Coy Lane lift station replacement in Russell Township in the amount of $166,152, as they've represented the lowest and best bid. Bid bond submitted shall be held to serve as the performance bond for this project.
Make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Blair?
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool?
Aye.
And our final item here is to go out for rebids for our Russell Park wastewater treatment plant. We had gone out a month and a half ago, and the only bid that came in was well over the engineer's estimate, so we rejected that bid. And we went back and took a look at the proposed construction, took out some of the items that we had put in that our guys can do themselves. We had put it in the original bid with the hopes that, if we're gonna be out there, if somebody is gonna be out there doing the work, then we would have them do that work, and that would free up our guys to do some work at some other plants. But in order to get into within our funding for that project, we took out some of the repiping of the air lines and and the sewage lines within the plant.
Department of Water Resources is requesting the board grant permission to advertise for bids for the Russell Park wastewater treatment plant upgrades to be held on Wednesday, June 1st, 2016 at 2 p.m. Notice of this bid opening will be advertised on May 13th, 2016, May 20th, 2016, and on the county website.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool?
Aye.
Very much.
Thanks, Jerry. You too now.
I'll handle the next one. This is an annual contract we have, and we've used Maximus since before I was here, and I don't think the price has changed that entire time. What they do is they gather data on the amount of hours that are consumed in support of departments outside the general fund by our office, by the auditor's office, the treasurer's office, the prosecutor's office, our records center. So these are general fund funded departments that provide support for departments outside of the general fund and save them money, perform work they'd have to do on their own if our departments weren't there. This was originally, I think, initiated because it gave the counties a way to recover money from Jobs and Family Services, because JFSs are large, complex agencies, and they consume a lot of general fund resources to support what they do. And having a cost plan allows the county then to charge that funding source and compensate partially the general fund departments. So we had one other entity, or one other company, just the last couple of years has come into existence to be a competitor to Maximus. However, they don't yet have the actual track record of doing cost plans for Ohio counties. And this is big and complicated, and I don't want us to be the pioneer on this. This other company gets a little bit of track record, because they're offering to do it for about 25% less. But given the fact the price hasn't changed and the importance of what they do, I would rather, that we're choosing between companies that both have some experience doing this specific kind of allocation. So asking the board to approve the contract for this year.
Commissioner's Office is requesting the board approve and execute the agreement to provide professional consulting services with Maximus Consulting Services Incorporated for services rendered in the development of the county's central services cost allocation plan for year 2016 in the amount of $11,000.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool?
Aye.
Aye. I think this was yours, isn't it?
These next three are hers.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The first one is the, I'm sorry, I don't have the agenda in front of me.
That's the LEAP or whatever that wellness thing, life cycle
Oh.
EAP.
Okay, so the Lifestyle EAP, we've been doing this, geez, probably about 6 or 7 years now. This is basically a service that the Cleveland Clinic provides us for our employees, and also an excellent resource for the employer, which is us. They allow 8 free counseling sessions per issue. This is basically for personal issues that an employee might be having. They provide 8 free counseling sessions for the employee and anyone living in their household. They charge us for 589 employees, but they allow all of our part-timers and seasonals, so they don't charge us for those employees. It's been an excellent resource for us as the county. We use it a lot for formal referral programs, disciplinary issues. We also use them for fitness for duty. We've used them in many situations as an excellent resource. And I was talking to our contact there yesterday, and just in the first quarter of 2016, we've utilized this the utilization rate is 9.43%, which is pretty high. We've touched 15 lives already. The other big thing about this program is it keeps mental health kind of counseling sessions off of our health care. And Dave can attest to the fact that SEPCO has brought that to our attention. When we were allowed to separate mental health versus physical health, they would tell us that our mental health claims were a lot lower because we utilize a flat contract and work with our EAP. So, and we chose Cleveland Clinic because they don't work so much with outside consulting. It's mostly their employees that are the counselors. So if there's ever an issue, I felt, we felt that there was some level of accountability. So we're asking that we renew the contract. They have not raised the cost ever.
So I've exercised Kathy quite heartily over this, because
Yes, you
these kinds of
have.
programs I'm not necessarily a fan of, but she's done a great job of defending it and demonstrating its value, and so I want to thank you publicly for all the good work that you do and putting up with me, because I ask you a lot of questions. So.
Well, but the truth of the matter is, I welcome those questions because, as I told Commissioner Claypool, if we never used this, if I never picked up the phone and called them, if the employees never used it, I would be saying, don't do it. Why would we spend $15,000 something? I'm a taxpayer here too. I don't want to be wasting money. But I really think it's kept us out of of trouble out of hot water because there are issues that we just don't know the answers to, and they're the professionals to guide us.
Don't we have an higher than average utilization rate?
We do.
Which you could say we have more issues, or you could say our employees and managers are well informed and that you take advantage of the service.
Yeah, that too. I think sometimes EAP programs can just get, you sign up and you never promote them, but we do promote them. And like at our Health and Wellness Expo, we had about 380 employees come through that expo. We had Lauren sitting there for the whole day and promoting the program. And you have to do that because people forget about it. So, but as far as supervisors, I've seen a lot more supervisors taking advantage of it. And when employees are having some issues at work and they come to their supervisor, they're not really counselors, so they have a resource to say, hey, maybe go see this person, and I've heard really good things about it. But importantly, I mean, we've had some super sensitive issues, and that really, without their guidance, could have led to some serious legal implications. So for that alone, I'm grateful for this program.
Well, they need counseling to come to you. So, and
Yes.
it seems to work out pretty good.
I don't know how's that working for you.
And by the way, you mentioned the wellness thing about her over here. Yeah, I went over to that. It was good. It was really good. I learned every time I go over there. I learn something.
Right.
I got some good food.
Turkey chili.
The turkey chili was good. And all the little slime stuff that they made over in the cups.
You mean that
So
we were
good.
working so hard,
Tasty
those
slime.
smoothies?
Yeah, whatever that stuff was. I'm not sure what that was, but I tried it all except the green stuff. I brought that to Heidi because she likes it. But no, you did a really nice job, and you deserve kudos for that, because one of the reasons that this program succeeds, I think, is because of all the good work you do to make people aware of it, so they can utilize it and then get the benefit out of it, and so on and so forth. So like you said, a lot of people just aren't aware. Large companies that I belonged to at one time, they had these programs, but oftentimes people didn't want to utilize them. They feared utilizing them because they might be a stigma associated with them if they went to counseling or whatever the case was, so they toughed it out. But all the good work that you do does bear fruit, and we can see that in our rates and so on and so forth. So, kudos, and with that, you can do what you do.
But I just want to interject one more thing. Thank you for that, but honestly, it's my wellness committee worked really hard on that expo. All of the directors and managers and supervisors that allowed their employees to come and take part in that. I mean, if they didn't, there wouldn't really be an expo. And as far as the EAP program, again, I'm going to go back to the directors and the managers who do an excellent job of keeping on top of it and putting it out to their employees. We're just here, but it takes, a village to raise a child.
Please, please. All right, I was gonna vote yes, but now.
They breached too far.
No.
Yeah,
Sorry.
You had to go there.
Did I say something? I really didn't mean that.
That's a Hillary Clintonism.
Oh, forget I strike it.
Yeah,
Strike
take it out of your banana, go wash your mouth out. All right, good.
Commissioner's Office is requesting the board approve and authorize the president of the board to execute the services agreement between Cleveland Clinic Wellness Enterprise LLC and Geauga County for the Lifestyle Employee Assistance Program, Lifestyle EAP, for the period May 1st, 2016 through April 30th, 2017, in the amount of $26 per covered employee per year based on 589 full-time employees.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool?
All right.
Okay, so the next one is our unemployment compensation service contract. Again, we utilize comp management for this service. They have not raised this cost in years and years and years. It's $1,205. They advise us, they help us with unemployment hearings. Again, a great resource that we utilize for our unemployment claims.
Commissioner's Office is requesting the board approve and authorize the president of the board to execute the Unemployment Compensation Service Agency Agreement between Geauga County and Comp Management Incorporated, a Sedgwick CMS company, CMI, for unemployment services for a period May 1st, 2016 through April 30th, 2017, in the amount of $1,205.
Make the motion.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Abstain.
Claypool?
Aye.
And the next one is for our workers' comp, they're our third-party administrator. They act as our MCL and our third-party administrator. I think comp management has done an excellent job, and you'll be hearing more about that next month when we talk about our group retrospective rating program that we're in. But I think that they do, again, an excellent job, and they help us with handicap reimbursements. They're right on top of claims. I'm in contact with them just about every day, and just keeping on top of the claims and trying to manage them. And they do a really nice job for us.
Commissioner's Office is requesting the board approve and authorize the president of the board to execute the Workers' Compensation Service Agency Agreement between Geauga County and Comp Management Incorporated, Sedgwick CMS Company, CMI, for workers' compensation services for the period May 1st, 2016 through April 30th, 2017, in the amount of $10,350.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Reer?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Abstain.
Commissioner Claypool?
Aye.
I'd also just like to let you know that at the latest Geauga Safety Council meeting, the county got an award for reducing our accidents and injuries in the workplace by 25% over last year. So that's a combination of, Linda's safety programs and all the training that she does and claims management. So we're on the right path. Hopefully we'll see this next year again, but this is a good year. So just wanted to give you
Thank you.
that.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know, is there anything, our discussion that?
I don't know if you guys want to talk about the findings from the water get-together we had last Thursday. I'm prepared to talk about it if you want to hear about it. If not, we won't.
Well, I read through your informational sheet here of some of this stuff. I see here what the recommendation is this reach an agreement with the USGS that would begin this month and continue until September, October timeframe. What I would like to do is to see, anytime you try to negotiate a deal, buying more is we always hopefully can buy for less. Why don't we see what we can do for, I got that, did you get that voicemail from Dave Dietrich?
Yes.
He doesn't know if he's gonna be able to have a contract for us for the 17th. So with that being said, I think that it would be a good idea for us to, with that being given, that we could buy a little bit of time with that. I know that we had discussed the 10th for a plan, the 17th for a vote. I don't necessarily going back on what I had said, but if we can't have the contract by the 17th, we don't have a contract. But let's do this, why don't we go ahead and move forward to give us all a little bit of time. I think that we all in agreement that there's researching and figuring out if there's a better way is always good.
Let me do this and give you, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Well, let's try to get this thing for my position would be is to try to get them to do a contract for the remainder of the year, but try to buy 1 year forward, because September is going to be here before we know it, and then we're going to be regurgitating all this again, so that gives us some time.
I agree, that we should look at this, and if we're gonna continue to do research on alternate methods, unfortunately, it puts our backs against the wall on a time frame, and I would agree with Ralph that we need to look at reinstating whatever the remainder of the year is. Now, this is assuming that we don't double or triple the cost. I mean, if it's, yeah, if it's the same thing, and then essentially the contract would run from whatever it is, September, the date, or October, I'm not sure the exact date, through to the year of 2017. That gives enough time to actually construct something that's maybe meaningful, and quite frankly, we're just consuming an awful lot of county time on this. And as the clock starts to run out, I think we're gonna run the risk of maybe making a bad deal or a rush decision because we've got a self-imposed deadline, and I don't think that's wise.
Let me jump in here and make a comment on this. And I'm gonna give you a more comprehensive set of findings. First of all, according to USGS, there is no requirement for us to even complete an agreement. They're willing to take a look at it starting in September and moving forward from there. The only interest in doing that was because we have some political interest in doing it. There's some political drivers. It's not logical drivers. If you take a look at what's being done across the state of Ohio, the vast majority of counties in the state of Ohio do not do well monitoring at all. And of those that do, a high percentage of them are doing one well per county. If you take a look at the data that we're making decisions on, much of that data, which you will see in this document, which is oftentimes referenced, is dated out of date and bad data. Bad data leads to bad decisions. And so my concern is that we are using outdated information. We're putting ourselves into a situation where we're creating a false sense of security and leaning on a program because we've got some feel-good effort that is leading to bad results at the end of the day. And so, I'd like to suggest that we take a look at this in a little bit more detail before we jump to a year and a half. Because once we sign that agreement, I can guarantee you, it will not be looked at again. We'll go a year and a half, and this will be shelved because politically it's a hot potato. And I don't know that that's doing the right thing by the
Well,
county.
if I could suggest, really, and I commend Commissioner Claypool for all the time he's put into it, because it's an important subject, people are very interested in it, and he's gotten in there and really learned all the nuts and bolts of it better than anybody else in this room. My only suggestion would be that if the board decides to do something, say from now to the end of September in 2017 or whatever it is, that there's kind of a burden or a directive put on the planning commission, who ought to be really stepping up and be taking the lead on this thing and say, okay, this board, if you agree to do it, we're ready to commit and do this program, but we want a little renewed commitment that when we spend money on this data, it's actually going to be used, it's going to be disseminated, and people are going to make decisions on it. And then over this next year, you look at better ways going forward from 17 to 18 to maybe take it up a level.
Well, part of my concern is I've discovered here, is a lot of those folks who are driving this issue, first of all, they're politically motivated.
And you're not?
I am not politically
Okay,
motivated.
okay, I just wanna make sure that.
No, this is fact-based, Blake, this has nothing to do with politics.
Okay.
And some people would say, well, $23,000, it's a drop in the bucket. Well, what's the cost of a bad decision? And, if we watch in the nickels, the dollars will take care of themselves. I'm concerned that we're spending money, and I ask Kathy a lot of questions. Every program that comes through here, I look at, what the value is coming out of that program. This was no different from that. If I talk to some of the trustees, and I'm a little bit concerned at the way these kinds of decisions are forced upon us because of the political environment. We've got a press that has not reached out to us or to me to actually try to discover what's going on factually. They've been more interested in the tabloid journalism side of this, the creating the draw. A handful of trustees who have been making a big deal of this without really understanding what's inside of this. And if you ask them the question, and I challenge you, ask these folks this question, ask the planning commission, ask the health department, and ask the trustees. Cite for me where you've referenced this information in any plan in the county. I have asked that question a dozen times and nobody has responded with a citation or where they've actually used well monitoring data. Oftentimes they will use the 1980 or 1994 report, which is it's a very comprehensive report. This is actually a good investment because there's a wealth of information in this. And they will cite this document, which is based on primarily this document and a whole bunch of other information. And if you look at this document, you will see all kinds of old citations dating back to the 1990s, 2001, 2009. So that points to the fact that everybody is jumping to the easy solution because it's easy, without really looking at what's important in order to make good decisions, both to the planning commission and the trustees. And on top of that, the trustees and the health department have no stake in this. They're trying to force a decision on us, and yet there's no stake in the game. They've got no investment. It's easy to have somebody else spend money. If they were spending money out of their pockets, I'm wondering if the decision would be the same. So with all that said, I'm gonna go with the board. All I ask for is an open, honest discussion and debate on this. I'm gonna give you more information in terms of my findings and all that kind of stuff. But if we're gonna make a political decision, I'm very concerned with that.
Well, I do have a question with your open, honest comment, in that we had this discussion over the last couple of weeks about various, the board's doing this, the board's doing that, when clearly I didn't know, and I don't think Ralph knew what some of these comments that you were making were. And I hesitate to use the word you were put on notice, but it was out there. And then you went and scheduled a meeting with you and your experts, a private meeting with really no transparency, which is of course one of your big campaign slogans was the transparency issue, And then you expect, I don't want to speak for Ralph, but you expect me to, with no contact, no involvement in that meeting, subscribe or believe your conclusions on that meeting when I didn't hear anything that went on in that meeting. And then when you start to cite experts who in fact work for the three of us, our directors, who every January when we have our reorg meeting are sweating bullets as to whether or not they're going to be reappointed. It appears that there's the potential for them to feel threatened in some way when one of us, not if more of us, if more of us, it's the way it's supposed to work, but one person starts to question them about things and so on. I just have a question in human nature, whether they're completely candid, or whether they're possibly enticed into saying something that they think you want to hear.
Okay, let me address some of this, because you brought this up before, and it's bunk.
Oh, it's bunk. Okay, let's go.
Okay, listen.
Yeah, let's go.
First of all, there's nothing that I do in this office that I don't communicate to Dave. I can't communicate to you directly, but I have communicated to Dave. Shut up and let me finish.
Oh, excuse me?
Let me hear me out. Dave knows what everything is going on that I do. Every time I meet with Mark Geauga, every time I meet with Bob Weisdack, every time I meet with Dave Dietrich, and the outcome of that meeting, I communicate to Dave with the expectation he's going to tell you about it. Now, that's not for us to be making decisions behind closed doors. So awareness. I have brought it up in this meeting a number of times. You were invited to that private meeting, and you chose not to come. You can bring that up in a session anytime you choose. You chose not to do that. You can talk to any of these folks that I'm talking to and get their input. You choose not to do that. I can't control what you do, but I choose to look at this stuff, to ask questions, to do a responsible job. That's what I choose to do. That meeting was private because I needed to hear from a group of experts, which included Lori Saspenza, who is not my greatest fan, and a member off the health board who's not my greatest fan, because I wanted to get fair and unbiased information and have a discussion and a dialogue. If the press is in the room, people moderate what they say. It wouldn't be the open, honest input that I require so I can put this together. I'm bringing this back to you so that you can evaluate it. You can go to the department heads. You can go to Bob Weisdack, which, by the way, we don't appoint him. We don't appoint Dave Dietrich. The only person involved with this that we have anything to do with is Jerry Morgan. And all I asked Jerry Morgan for was data and information. I said, give me your opinion on this. What is your thought in terms of the, the well out and the outside? Martha Jaguki confirmed that this is a good thing to do, to evaluate this. There is a huge difference in how counties approach this across the state of Ohio. There's huge questions. We've got a third of the wells in the state of Ohio. Does that make sense to anybody, that we're paying for a third of the wells to be monitored in the state of Ohio? What do the other counties know that we don't know? Kurt Prinzig of our EPA district manager called me last week, thanking me for at least asking the questions. He said, I really appreciate that we have a county commissioner willing to ask these kinds of questions. And so, yes, I've spent a lot of time on my time, evaluating this, reading stuff. I drove all the way to Columbus to meet with the EPA on my nickel so that I could better understand what this is all about, what the value behind all this was. So you can take what I tell you, or you can leave it. It's up to you to make that decision. You and Ralph get to overvote me if you want to. That's okay. I'm going to provide you with information. But at the end of the day, what I've seen is, if I ask Bob Weisdeck and I ask Dave Dietrich, they're not in the room. I asked them to be here today. They chose not to come. Well, Bob's busy with another event. He was going to be here, and Dave is
Probably there by himself.
He's probably there by himself. But in any case, if you ask them the question, and I encourage you to go do this, what data do you use to make your decision with? It's not well monitoring data. The very first piece of information they go to is well logs. Those well logs are stored by the ODNR down at the state of Ohio. That has nothing to do with what we're investing in. So there's a lot of questions that could and should be asked. And we can reconfigure, and Martha Jaguki actually, who is the hydrologist, a very honest, very open person, and in that meeting she defended my thoughts on numerous occasions, to include the fact that the majority of the counties in the state of Ohio are not monitoring like we're monitoring. And so, again, there's questions as to what's the value behind the monitoring. It's been consistent since the 80s. Is there really value in doing it the way that we're doing it? And so that's all I'm going to throw that on the table. It is a lot of work for a very small dollar amount. But at the end of the day, if we don't question these kinds of things, and we're spending $23,000 on a program that's a complete waste of money, or at least it doesn't have the value that it should have, and we do that repeatedly across the county, we're wasting people's tax dollars. And I have an issue with that. So you make choices, Blake. I can't control your choices. But I'm going to provide you with information, and you and Ralph can make up your minds how you feel about it. If you want to create a 1.5-year contract, fine. I'd give it my best shot, and we'll move on.
You done?
Yeah, I'm done. Go ahead.
You've been working on this not feverishly since last fall, because by your own admission, your words, not mine, I may have dropped the ball on getting back to Martha Jaguki. So this is not unlike other issues that you've encountered, much like the Community Action Incorporated,
Which is successful today, by the way.
successful today. I remember when you told me in Columbus, the first week you were on the job, you leave this alone, I'm in charge of this. And then, yeah, you did, and it's on tape somewhere. And I will tell you,
Pull the tape. You will not find that.
I will tell you that you dropped the ball on that until most of us got our feathers ruffled when Lake County was going to get that program. And then you ran around at the last minute constructing all these things. I'm not entirely opposed to the concept of this, which is why I think people other than you should be involved in doing it. Because every time, I'll leave that alone. My question is, I don't want to have you scheduling. We're going to have a meeting on Thursday night, some Thursday night here. That would have been a good time to have the experts there in front of all of us and telling us this stuff. Not you meeting in the middle of the day because you have nothing better to do with these people over here in a private meeting. Ralph is a busy man. I got things to do. I can't come to these meetings that you schedule at weird hours of the day. It's not in the job description and I can't do it. But I also don't take as gospel your conclusions. And that's where I'll.
I never asked you to.
What?
Did I not suggest right now that you go talk to the experts? And did I not say 2 weeks ago, pull the tape out of the session? That we can make this a public meeting if you choose to? You guys chose not to make that a public meeting. I said, you're welcome to attend this meeting, and if if we notice it, then we'll make it a public meeting. If not, then we'll have to make it a private meeting. I said that publicly. Again, I can't control what this entire board does, and I'm coordinating between those folks who are interested to have this discussion.
I move to adjourn. Solid.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Is the camera on?
Probably went the whole inside. Okay.